Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. We're picking up right where we left off in our Luxembourg to Netherlands to Lotharingia on our way to Germany game. Still at war with the coalition about to go in on France. Just a quick abridgment before we carry on, though. I am using mods. As you can see, I've installed mainly Glorp AI and the Daily Tick mod, just because mid to late game EU5, I don't have a supercomputer, and with recording everything, it gets really slow. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Editor Brown Dog 2 here. Very quickly, I just want to pop in and say that I will be streaming on Tuesday, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. GMT, 5 hours ahead of EST or New York time. As well, while you're here, if you could saunter on down, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. We just blew past 750 subs. Thank you all so much for that, and it means the world truly. The only other note that I have to make is I'm going to be trying to get videos not short. I do believe that EU5 does need a longer video to be experienced properly. Perhaps I can try and get it down under an hour and a half. In fact, if you had a preference for a video length, I might be making a community post in the future, so keep your eyes out for that, just so I can gauge what you would all enjoy. Either way, thank you very much. Now, go on and see beautiful, beautiful Lotharingia into Germany gameplay. Yeah, what a nice guy he is. He does all the hard work. Talking's the easy part. Without further ado, I'm gonna clean up this war, and if anything interesting happens, I'll let you know. Alright, well, immediately upon unpausing, Spain has called us to join them in a war against France. Is this a war that they've started? Yes, this is a war that they've started. Of course, we're going to back Spain against France, although it sucks because I was about to deck on Spain myself, but you know. France is also shattered. They only have 5,000 troops. They've had an extremely extended war against Savoy and the Empire, so it should be a really easy cleanup. I don't actually think they can come up and bother me. Alrighty, and against the entirety of the coalition here, I am actually just going to take this one province of Saint Avold, as well as 200 ducats. Not to mention, we have taken and separate pieced out various members of the coalition, mostly along our border, but the main goal was just to get a peace which will force them out of the coalition just like that. There is technically no coalition, though it will get quickly refounded, and we can start decking into that and endlessly continue the cycle. As long as nobody major joins, I really don't have to care. After an inordinate amount of butt-kissing and trying to calm them down, I've made it so the bourgeoisie probably aren't going to revolt and take half the country with it. Only some of them will. Not gonna lie, I did have to take out 10,000 ducats in debt to buy off their frustration, and that's okay. Just a little bit more debt than I was expecting to immediately take out. Otherwise, we'll break even in time. We're actually narrowly avoiding the civil war. I'm very gently monitoring my rebels because people are quite frustrated with me. It's almost like when I've been taxing tyrannically for almost 100 years. They're unenthused, and the coalition is also being detoothed. I'm just trying to improve relations, chill out some people, mainly the emperor and big countries, and then I'm going to go back in and do more cleanup. And I don't know if I've shown this yet, but economically we are, well, not undisputed. We're sitting at almost 1,900. We are like point something of a ducat off. If we look at the international hegemon, we are just behind Bohemia, but is this just in trade and tax income? I see. We're more production economy, but we are a very healthy European economy. Bigger than France, slightly smaller than Bohemia. Within our nation, we have a very healthy spread of control. 60s in the lower sections and 80s in our urban locations, starting to build up going down the Moselle and Rhine. As well, I believe we just moved our local governor to Utrecht. We have one in Cologne, and the one in Ghent, I think I'm going to move towards our French territories. Much more interestingly than that, though, there is Gelders, who the truce that I've had with them has worn off, and they have rejoined the coalition. So I can go in, eat up a bunch more land. I'll probably create a third coalition. While I'm at it, I'm going to be saving up money, paying off loans. I have a massive professional army and enough manpower I'm not going to run out, and urbanizing the Rhineland. So we'll just go up to Gelders, threaten war for their capital of Tiel. Of course, they say no and politely tell me where to shove it. That puts me at war with that much of the Holy Roman Empire, so I can now go over here, and none of my allies want to join me. Shame. Won't do it the nice way, but we'll come over to Bohemia, go to Influence Actions, and use favors to call them in, and force them to fight my war for my benefit anyway. What great guys, Bohemia, you're too kind. Then we just basically have to go and burn down Gelders, and if we're lucky, they'll tap out and throw in the towel for their entire team. From the little one location miner here with the city of Brentheim, we're just going to steal their land and take all their money. I've also just made peace with it at this point. I'm going to become an international pariah, but when their city's just sitting there, I'm going to take them. And again, so long as there's no major nations actually joining the coalition against me, I don't care. I can buy off almost anyone with just a little bit of time in improving relation. It seems like France is having quite the war against the Huguenots. If I didn't know any better, I think that the rebels have a chance of pulling through. I would love to see a Lutheran France. If nothing else, it would be cool. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful streak of blue, and I think Germany's just going to continue to fall to it. And we're going to make a separate peace with Cologne, taking these 4 locations. With Munster taking all of these locations, against Ansbruck taking these 2 locations, against Diaz taking this city, and because Gelders has fully capitulated, I basically get the choice to go in deep. Apparently this peace treaty is going to give me 600 antagonism, to which I say to the HRE, bring it on. If we look at my antagonism after this, 1, looking both a lot more and a lot less blotchy. We've almost cleaned up the Low Countries. Unfortunately, Holland is part of my defensive league, so nothing I can do about that unless I want to leave the defensive league, but I'm leaving the defensive league intact because of my aggressive shenanigans. The actual coalition, theoretically large. The solution that I have, if I just juggle around my money a little bit here, I crank my Diplo spending, but essentially I'm going to crank my Diplo spending, go around and improve relations, with all the countries that are big that could cause me some problems, and then I'm just going to redeck on, well, all the ones that are immediately going to rejoin in Germany, pretty much. Because you can see, coalition just got deleted, so it's all a matter of just going back in. Now, I am, again, straddling some revolts, but it's as simple as just patching up the relation again and going back in again. They can't stop me. And Germany will happen at this rate in no time, although the cost of it might be having to fight a coalition the size of Europe. But I don't think the large nations can stop me either, so long as I have England and Spain and, Poland or Bohemia on my side. Very little that Austria is going to be able to do. Now, the other problem is I do have, 300 antagonism. That's a little bit harder to fix, but... Well, it seems like I just got kicked out of the defensive league anyway, because one of the members of the defensive league joined the coalition against me. So that's a self-solving issue. Although it's a shame that I built it up so well, But I guess we'll just have to rip it apart, bit by bloody bit. And that means Holland isn't safe for that much longer, and we can finally have a beautifully united Low Countries. Actually, we just managed to upgrade our army to being essentially the best that it could be at the moment. We're running Landsknecht with Age 3 artillery, falconets, high-level lancers, and light lancers to do cleanup work, and a bunch of camp followers because food and forage is important. But I think it's time for us to jump back in the ring, because the next coalition is ready for a harvesting. So all we're going to do, I have a Parliament CB I'm cooking up. There we go. I'm probably going to threaten war on... Ooh, where do I need more land? Hesse seems like a good target. That will call in the entire coalition defensive thing. I'm essentially going to fight half of Germany more, really. I'll call in Bohemia, I'll call in Spain. We'll do the cleanup, and then we'll recycle in 15 years. Just like that, we kick off the war. Bohemia and England are far too eager to jump in head first. And yes, that pretty much is me versus the rest of Germany. The numbers technically aren't on our sides, but I have a professional army, and they don't. So I'm going to go clean up Holland, and then I'll turn around and basically start picking through the bits of Germany I want until I get bored. It's hard for them to coalition against you when they don't exist, though. We're doing a proto-Napoleon. You see, when I look at the numbers here, technically we're outnumbered. Well, we have more population and a larger navy, but technically in soldier pops we're outnumbered. But again, 30,000 professionals in a stack, not to mention the 50,000 professionals in a stack that Bohemia is bringing to war, will beat out the fact that they have more numbers because I can coordinate. I'm also not even touching my 100,000 levies button, but I can look and see, oh, there's a 10,000 stack just standing there, and hit it with an extreme amount of prejudice. There's no thinking at this point. It's just how efficiently I can click the button to do it. Gorgeous. With the falling of Holland's castle, we can now finally unite the Low Countries to be what they were supposed to be, one beautiful Lotharingia, and we can turn our attention onto away from the swamp Germans onto those funny little Deutschlanders. Now, I've also seen comments about people asking me why I don't show the combat often, and one, I find it's hard to capture on camera correctly, but also when I am playing with the daily tech mod, it really does kind of degrade. Um, I don't feel like it gives you unfair battles, but here, let me, once I click through all of these, let me show you what I mean. So I'm running on 3 speed, which is by all accounts incredibly slow, and it's gone. Cool. Or when I take my 36 stack into this 46 stack, we are pure professionals though. We line up, technically we have reduced morale, and their flank is gone, their center's gone, and they're gone. So yes, I skipped through a lot of the actual combat, but there's not any content to it. There's nothing to chew on there. It's just I march my numbers in and win. Or earlier in the videos when I was fighting France, I would march in and lose, get my ass properly handed to me. But as you can see, there's very little. I'm sure if I ran in 2-1 with half morale, I would lose, but I'm not gonna put myself in that kind of situation. I did all that slow pre-planning to be able to do this. Bonk. Or, you know, this. You just kill them. Here we go. So I started this battle fighting like 4,000 of them, and they managed to hold out long enough that a lot of little dudes could jump in. So if we actually sit and watch as this battle plays out, yes, I'm taking more casualties. Actually, they might get me here. Never mind, they've shattered. Because I had cavalry. So, oh. Yeah, I thought that was like... I thought that was a relatively fair fight. No, apparently I just killed 30,000 of them. Now, I did lose 10,000 troops, so I have to back off for a month. I'll sit behind my nicely constructed fort wall, cycle back, and, like, murder again. Hey, France did follow Lutheranism. Welcome to the faith, brother. Shame that I think you still hate me. They're going to. If they don't yet, they're about to. Against Haguenau, we'll take that one location there and all their ducats. Against Metz, we'll take all of their land and their money. We'll off Offenburg, ream out Rhine-Neck, neuter Nassau, ravage Ravensburg, milk Minden? No, wait. Murder Minden, there we go. Own Oldenburg. Jive with Jever? Jinx Jever? Juggle Jever. Riz Ritzebuttle. Heist Hoya. Burn out Brema. Vanquish Verden. And lastly, Heist Hesse, which will involve us full annexing Hesse as well as stealing bits of the Palatinate, Brunswick, and half of Lüneburg. Truly, we are benevolent. That leaves us with how much antagonism? Well, France has 100, but people in the Holy Roman Empire have somewhere between 500 and probably 1,000 if they directly border me. Almost 2,000. Yeah, I'm a pariah. Oh well. I also desperately need to go read a thesaurus because I felt like I was kind of straining myself if I got too many more T's. Like besides terrorize, threaten, teeter, topple. Okay, no. There was some good ones. And after that absolute rip and tear through Germany, we are only a little less than a half of the way there. To be fair, we certainly don't have half of Germany in our borders. The fact that, you know, all of the Netherlands counts for Germany, I understand why. You know, they're swamp Germans after all. It's still kind of weird that you can form it with so little. Economically, though, we are nearly ascendant. We've kind of hit our stride, and nothing is stopping us now, so long as we keep growing our market. When it comes to building things, I can just go to the RGO builder, and so long as it's making a reasonable amount of money and not just sending my actual costs up, because if your wealth is scaling faster than your tax base, there's no reason to be building because there's no money in it. And we're here for the money. Besides that, we do have some angry German nationalists, and it's only a matter of time until I have to go to war again, because, let's be honest, if I let this all form into one coalition, I still could beat it. It would just be slightly more annoying than doing it repeatedly in small coalitions. And I think it's about time that I probably just clean up whatever this little bunch of blobs is. When it comes to actually integrating all this land too, it's both easier than you think and harder than you think. Because we are such a strong culture now, we gain a lot of progress due to it, due to the, if we look here, we have a plus 50% due to our cultural strength, and then a bunch of other positive modifiers I've been building up. So it does go up roughly 0.8 a tick, and then, you know, spread out and integrated. It's just the volume of land that we actually have to integrate is kind of insane. Yeah, after a quick redistribution of all of my local governors, you can see the country gets much more consistent control. Now that is theoretical control. Practically, we have much lower, and it will take a while for these to raise up to the appropriate levels. But just know that we are getting there, and as such, the tax base will, again, only continue to grow, because we're such a kind and giving people. Because we dig the steel and lead up out of the ground of Luxembourg, and we share it with the rest of Germany and northern France liberally. So they can receive our absolute rule directly into the easiestly accessible artery, preferably near the neck, so it's quick and painless for them. Because we're good people, really. So long as you pay us taxes. In an attempt to keep my truce with France on a different timer than the coalitions, my truce with France just came up, and obviously they are quite antagonized with me, so I'm just going to deck on them. I'm going to call Spain in. France really shouldn't be able to oppose this. Even still, if they do, I'm going to take just a bunch of money from them. I have no need for French land. My interests lie to the east of the Rhine. We are going to go in with the classic, everybody's favorite, no CB, because it's the best CB, and 30 stability really doesn't mean that much to me anymore. Also, in the meantime of dealing with all of this, I did cut down on the size of my army, or not army, on the size of my individual stack slightly, and reorganized it, and then built up to have 2 of those that can operate not entirely independently, but, you know, instead of walking around with like a 60,000 stack, I have 2 30,000s. Either way, time to do as God intended and kick France's ass. And I don't know if I've ever actually broken down what my stack is running, but we're running 9 heavy infantry. That actually makes up the main front line. 8 heavy cav, which this is the last age I'll be running heavy cav, but they essentially win the fight for me. 8 artillery. I don't know what the correct number of artillery is to have. It's expensive and it helps with sieges, so I just make sure that I have enough in it that if I take some losses, I still get the max bonus against the fort. 6 light cav. Light cav does the cleanup after you win the fight, so you want to have some so you can actually get your wipes. And enough auxiliary that I don't get the frontage penalty, but that I feel that I don't starve right away. So I don't know if this is a good template. I've never seen what a good professional template looks like in EU5. There's a really long guide, and I looked at it and I said, I'm not reading that. But this works for me. Your results may vary. I know as you move from the age of Reformation troops onward, you do want to drop the heavy cav. I don't know if you want to drop the light cav, though, because infantry just gets so good. I also don't know where I stand on the heavy infantry, light infantry dispersion. I just roll heavy infantry because, as I understand it, peasants are light infantry, and if I needed light infantry and bodies, that's where I would go to get them. So, yeah. That's my philosophy on it. If you feel differently about it, or if you have some more insight on that, feel free to say so in the comments, and while you're down there, do the YouTube pleasantries, the likes, the subscribings, there you go, all of that. That's what we call a plug, baby! France has apparently just pulled up the absolutely horrifying stack of 133,000 dirty peasants, which is only half of their levies. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I really want to attack it. So we're just going to run our professional troops in headlong, and see what happens. I think we melt this. If I click on the battle, hopefully it slows down enough that I can see. We're trading 10 to 1. Or at least... Now... it is... Oh, gosh. Did we... France won? No, France... Oh, France took their lads back up there. This is a stupid amount of bodies. I think they might win this one just on weight of bodies alone, and I will have to retreat from that. That's insane, though. They have put so many men. I've never seen a peasant ball that big. Oh, unless... No, it's my center that's faltering. Is it? Yeah. Alrighty. We'll pull north. The unwanted... We killed them more than 2 to 1. We slaughtered 70,000 Frenchmen. That's insane. Can you see that on the chart? I think so. I think it's that little blip there. I hope it is. When I go to sleep at night, all I can think to myself is the numbers of dead Frenchmen and hope that I do good by putting it a little bit harder. A little bit higher. It might have been a loss, but it was a win in my heart. I think it's time for a little bit of payback for the earlier loss, so we're going to march in and clean up this 30,000 stack sitting in Ghent really quick. And yeah, when they can't pile in like mad, oh geez, is it a slaughter. There you go. Maybe the reason I wasn't finding long enough combats was because I wasn't slaughtering enough Frenchmen. And that 30,000 stack is about to get... oh, it wasn't wiped, but it was reduced down to 9,000. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. I'm also actively spamming down more armories to be able to afford to get more troops in the field. And for the record, if you're wondering where my surplus keeps going, it's because I'm floating this many armories. I also have not built a single training field. All of those have been seized through the German states that I've conquered. Truly, we are a forgiving lordship. From France, we will take all of their money, war reps, one province here just to make the border look a bit nicer, as well as some provinces up in Picardy to make the border look nicer, and clean up their one location vassal in Germany. And you know what, France? There was a time I feared you. Genuinely. You scared me. Yeah, that's hilarious. Sorry. I was gonna do like a big fancy speech about how France has fallen, because like they are completely neutered, but no, this imperial conquest just totally derailed that. Nice. But like economically, we're superior to France. We almost double them now, even though we have less pop. Culturally, we dominate them. They have 600, 250. We have... Okay, they have more tradition than us, but our cultural influence is like 5 times theirs, so nothing that they can do there. Control-wise, I'm assuming... Now, mind you, this is the AI. I should be going easy on it. Their control is actually decent. I'll give them that. But Paris, for example, 150,000, I think is just barely comparable to Luxembourg. Actually larger than Luxembourg. I should take my hat off to the AI. They've built up the city, the easiest city to build up in the game. But no, we've eclipsed France, and so now all that's left, there's this big stupid red mess of Germany. Beautiful. So the coalition has reformed, which means it's much easier for me to go in and clean it up. I've justified a cleanse heresy CB on Württemberg, I believe. Yes. Spain is willing to back me up, which is hilarious because Spain is Catholic and I'm Lutheran, and we are going to go deck on Catholics. Thank you, Spain. Now, Cleanse Heresy is not a fantastic CB. Everything's a bit more expensive. However, it's more about the killing the OPMs and the little ones that get in my way that I care about. And I'm still, like, really dealing with integrating all of this land anyway, so I don't know how much I'm going to take, but I need to break the coalition either way. All that aside, we're going to go in with Spain and also go to our good buddy Bohemia right here and use favors to call him into this very unfortunate war. That does put us at war with essentially the entire HRE. Yep. Milan was having their own side war with Austria, don't worry about it. But just because we're at war with effectively all of Germany, Don't worry. It's fine. Everything's okay. What could possibly go wrong? But yeah, as I'm cutting through these poor, poor little German states, if anything interesting happens, I'll let you know. But don't bet on alliteration again. I'm allowed to do like one creative thing an episode, okay? Now, the other interesting thing, technically, it kind of looks like I'm doing bad in the south, but I really don't care because I have this big line of forts that you can really nicely see when I zoom out, running down the Mosel and then the Rhine that terminate up in Frisia. And so long as they don't get past that line, sure, there's valuable land there, but there's nothing that's like, well, that's really core. All of my value is kind of packed safely in the corner of the Netherlands. Moreover, though, like, I'm just going down and sieging people out individually, and I don't even have to worry about the war goal until I want to win. Because once they cap to me, then that's annoying because that puts me on a timer with ticking war exhaustion. I don't want to win that fast. I just want to go and pick them apart bit by bit. Because once I full siege somebody down, like Lippstadt here in just a moment, like Lippstadt has just fallen, so I can just go annex them really easy, take it all for myself. They can't say no. You can even separate piece a co-belligerent before a year passes, so long as you full siege them down. After a year passes, you just really need to take the capital if they're strong enough, if they're small enough, and they'll tap out anyway. But yeah, I'm just going down collecting them like they're stones for an Infinity Gauntlet, man. It's not that deep. I just walk into them and they die. Unless there's a month tick, then it takes a second because it's got to run the calculations. But like, I take my 25 stack, I click on the 12k stack, and we're gonna go, and it's gone. It's just that easy. Now, I understand that EU4 also suffered from this problem. It's just in EU5 it seems to happen at such a breakneck pace. I don't know, maybe EU4 had this problem and I was just so numb to it that I didn't feel it anymore. But EU5 starts so slow, basically lethargic. I love the game, don't worry. I have hundreds of hours in this game, so I shouldn't be... I'm one to talk. But it starts so lethargically slow, and then you just go. And that's where all your prep pays off, and one could say, yeah, that's kind of how it's designed, right? Once you break the game open, you do what you want. But it robs the narrative that it feels like the game is almost trying to go for. Like, sure, I can sit and quietly build up my little slice, but if I can take it, not only does that deny my enemies from having it, but there still isn't enough of a negative for taking land in the mid and late game. Like, these provinces I'm taking are on the fringes of my empire, but I'm still going to get 20 to 30% control on them if I build them right. And nothing's going to stop me from just taking them. Sure, maybe if I ate like the entirety of the Holy Roman Empire with only 4 governors, I would regret that. But even then, I can solve that puzzle quite simply by placing my guys to the best of my ability, by placing my governors to the best of my ability, and thinking about it. And maybe the thinking about it is the part that they're trying to engage with, but it just seems hollow? I don't know. It's not quite ringing home just yet. I'm sorry, what's happening? Who are you? The first rebellion against Lotharingia. Brother, I'm at war. I thought you couldn't rebel. Arnsberg? Where's this? Oh, cool. We'll clean that up really easy. In fact, yeah, get in here, guys. We're already all at war. What's a little bit more? And we're going to annex Dithmarschen with all of their land here. Schauenberg. Mulhausen. Everstein. Hildesheim. Bremen from the Hansa. Holstein-Peinberg. The entirety of Lüneburg for a smooth 430 antagonism. Actually, just for a brief intermission, how bad is it? Force convert Brandenburg to Lutheranism and take their money because it's funny. Hersfeld. Thuringia. Weimar, Brunswick, Naumburg, Gura, Gira, Gyra, Jura. Sure, we're gonna go with Jura. Nydia, Mersburg, Mansfeld, Allstedt, Fallen. Hey, look at that. Technically, we now have a direct land war with Bohemia. And just to give you an idea, while we're here, this is how much land I've just annexed. We're not done yet. There's still the south that we have to go through. But we're... Oh, we actually might get force pieced out. Okay, maybe it's time to call this. And all in all, just a decent chunk out of Württemberg and a mess of South German states. The coalition started with basically being... Oh, whoops. The coalition started with basically being almost all of Germany, and I have taken, as you can see, massive chunks. My aggressive expansion, as of the moment, all of Germany's painted a deep sheet of black, which you only get once you've passed 1,000. Bohemia, my ally, feels 200 towards me. Even people who I've been constantly improving relations with, like the Swedes, are starting to get up there. I'm just lucky that Spain and England don't really care, and that it goes away quickly to them. Something tells me Europe might start to notice my antics. And before really doing anything else, I'm immediately going to fabricate a CB on Denmark and threaten war against Denmark as they own some land in Germany that I need. Oh, they're actually going to give it up? That sucks. No, I don't want you to give it up. Here, let me send an insult, antagonize them, make sure that they actually want to fight me for it. A shame, the Danish are willing to give in if I was to threaten the land, which I don't want, so we're just immediately going to have to redeck on the Danish with approved claims. This is going to bring in the new coalition, which is significantly smaller. A handful of German states. And Denmark, we're going to clean up all land that could be considered German from the Danes, which includes Holstein, but not Schleswig, and the Elbe marshes. Beautiful. And from Denmark, we seize the Elbe marshes, Holstein. I have no interest in Schleswig, maybe when I have a German empire that I have to answer to. But we also picked up a bunch of minor princes. I stopped listing them all because there's just so many. You don't need to know. But yeah, we got what we came for against Denmark and created a truce, which was the intention. Oh, and beautiful. Apparently, we even did an imperial reconquest over it. It's wonderful. You can just see my population has gone up disgustingly. It was this nice, slow little management happening, and then you can see right about here is when I finally just lost it. I think the next step is another French war, just to keep their truce cycling. Because again, if all of Europe got together, I think they could beat me. And I can't, like, wait for this antagonism to burn off. The amount of antagonism that I have never burns off. No, don't worry. The peace treaty demands that I've made, they will fade by 2338. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to accept that this is a forever war now. And because I had a bit of money lying around, I figured I should do the sensible thing. So I decided to urbanize the entire coastline to at least towns. So every province possible can get a dock, can get a wharf, really get that harbor capacity and maritime presence building up. Because, after all, our core, despite being Walloon, is still built upon the low Franconians. And so, being the proper swamp Germans we must conquer the sea. And it's that time again, the coalition with France is burned off, so we're going to threaten war for Rothel, which is that little nubbin right there. Of course, France refuses, but they're not part of the coalition, so it doesn't matter. And we're just going to walk up and kind of knock their socks off, because what are they going to do about it? I must admit, the one thing that the French have going for them is a stupid amount of levies, like almost 200,000, to the point where they're gumming up this entire battle, even though I outnumber them with professionals, and Bohemia is helping, but I just cannot cope with the sheer amount of bodies. If you look at the losses they're taking, they're losing more than 2-1 every time. It's just the weight of the raw French peasant bearing down on us. Again, this is only hurting France in the long run. Like, they're actively throwing their workers into the inferno. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and send my boys to the grinder any longer. But, yeah, that's an odd one. Maybe Bohemia can cinch it with a cycle. No, center collapsed. Okay. I want to see. I don't get to see the stats of that battle. Easily, like 150,000 pops dead for France, but possibly for both sides. If alrighty, France is on the ropes. France gave a real fight, mostly just because they threw so many peasants under the tread of war. We lost 100,000 pops, as you can see. France lost 400. Okay, 350. But that's like their pop growth isn't offsetting the amount of bodies that they just threw into the grinder. Um, it's funny, not funny. It does make me think getting to kind of this point in EU5 because normally, but by now you wrap up your campaign. Germany is a mid to late game goal, but just I remember I cannot cite this, but I remember one of the intentions with EU5 the dev team stated was to have more realistic numbers in wars, not the end game EU5 death wars where millions of people are present in a battle. And while I can't acknowledge that we've not had like a million stack, at least I've not seen it. France throwing away like 350,000 peasants over essentially a border dispute seems wishful. Absolutely beautiful. So France is broken. We are going to seize 11,000 ducats and war reps from them, as well as dismantle a couple of their forts. Not to any real ending, but just to essentially keep the truce timer up on France so I don't have to deal with it. We're going to refill our troops, and very quickly we're going to march back into Germany. You know, it's with a heavy heart that I say this, but I think I may need to move my capital of Luxembourg to be more central to the kingdom. Or even, maybe I move Luxembourg up to Cologne, or the capital up to Cologne, so that my capital can take care of the entire so that my capital can take care of the entire western half of the kingdom and let my local governors focus on Germany. Because there's so much of this proximity circle that isn't going to use. And so yeah, I think it's time for a great reorganization of the capital. I say this with a heavy heart. Luxembourg has been a significant part of our kingdom for centuries, but it just isn't cutting the mustard. So with that, let me do some reorganization. I'll bring you right back. We move the capital to Cologne. A little bit expensive, but it's fine. And as well, have to get rid of a lot of local governors to redo this correctly. So there's going to be a period of brief instability in the kingdom, certainly. Yeah, with the capital in Lotharingia, you can see we get much more consistent spread over into the Netherlands, to the point where I almost feel comfortable. Well, yeah, no. To the point where I feel comfortable putting my governors more on the frontier to let them push much more aggressively. Once I become an empire, I'll probably throw down one more over here, but what I'll do simply is put a local governor in Verden, Bamberg, and Metz, the famous German city. But once these are all finished, we'll actually readjust and push even further. And it is time to go and kick the hornet's nest again. The coalition, again, is properly... pretty much all of Free Germany still against me. So we're just going to deck into Hennenberg, claiming their capital this time, sure. And away we go. We are only like 150 locations away from Germany, which theoretically, if I went all out in this war, I think I could get. I'm just not sure if I want to. Although my good buddy Bohemia sure does want to see me do it, apparently. And one thing, please forgive me for not reading out every name of every county I conquer. If it's somebody big like Brandenburg, sure, I'll mention it. But does anybody really care about the fate of... Who even are you? Of Saxe-Lauenburg? Like, is that going to ruin anybody's afternoon if I don't mention how I took over a 33,000 pop rural location? I think not. So I'm just going to do cleanup, and I'll give you the spark notes once I get there. And for reference, all the German states I'm decking into are not bringing more to bear than that French war, and they're easier to fight than the French war, so there's not going to be a fight, actually. I was just checking the numbers here. There's nothing they can do. It's merely a matter of me just sieging down what I need. By annexing Hamburg, we do take away the Hanse's last physical location. I don't know if that will destroy them. Can I? I can't afford to dissolve the Hanseatic League, so I don't know what will become of the Hansa, but we do take Hamburg. Yeah, no, they continue to exist from what I can see. Cool. Oh, Bohemia, how could you? You betray my trust so deeply. I cannot believe that you would join the coalition. Oh, they just had their treaties annulled with me. That's really unfortunate, though, because Bohemia does have a standing army. Their antagonism with me, though, is also 600. So I'm not that surprised. Truly. I'm wounded, don't get me wrong. Absolutely heartbroken, but not surprised. With annexing Wolgast, we complete the northern half of the front. I can probably move this army more towards the center. But, dang, look at us, we're properly in the Baltic now. And only a few years ago, we were nothing but a North Sea Nancy. Here you see Lower Bavaria, and it's gone. Poof. Our population is detonating upwards to no surprise. What's that? Germany's incredibly population dense? More news at 9. Beautiful, and we're actively beating down the walls of Vienna. You know, won't have to worry about the Turks this time. No. It's the Walloons. Hey, there we go. Vienna has fallen, and with it, I believe Austria will be willing to make peace? No! Wow, they're still willing to fight this one out. But, yeah, Vienna has fallen. Welcome to the true age of the Lotharingian Empire. Alrighty, from Austria, I will take basically everything that's highlighted in green. You know how this works. And to end this very long drawn-out war, this war has been going on for almost 10 years. As soon as I do this, I am going to get a Catholic revolt too. Love that. But we will conquer Hennenberg proper. Now, the nation is in no stable position at all. I have essentially, I don't want to say I threw, but I definitely tunneled down on forming Germany way more than I needed to. Economically, we're fine. We're just in a bit of a wealth to tax base disparity, and our values are a little bit botched. And as you can see, there's a lot of people who we really don't accept, land we don't control, population going horrendously untaxed. But before all that, give me 3 hurrahs for Germany. Form Germany, we will become an empire. We are the German Empire. Oh. Yeah. That's what I needed. So what does being the German Empire actually give us compared to being a kingdom? More culture capacity. And that's really the only major thing that I can see there. We have a nice new map color. Does the Holy Roman Empire still exist? Yes. Huh. Interesting. I thought when we formed Germany, the HRE might dissolve, but alas. Oh, look at that. It's like, it's the nice German Empire color. It's not the hard gray or black. It's kind of the seafoam green. That's pretty. There's so much that I have to unravel here, and stability that I have to bring, but I gotta go sit down for a moment because I've just been zoned in on this war for like 2 hours. In other news, that's a foreboding amount of population we just gained. I'm sure everything is fine. And you know what? We did form Germany with like a decent amount of Germany. Like, we're only missing some of the south, technically Bohemia, and like a little bit of Brandenburg. We really aren't that far off of like a grober Deutschland. How bad is the coalition and antagonism? You know, Bohemia does have 4,000 antagonism with me, but we are the dominant force in Europe. We're just behind the Ottomans, but the Ottomans economically aren't any. Oh wow, they actually have a bigger economy than me. What the heck? What are the Ottomans cooking down there? They have a bigger army than me, too. Maybe, who knows? Maybe the Turks are my next great rival. Either way, on to going and repairing whatever's happening here. Alrighty, well, now that I've actually accomplished my goal of being the German Empire, I'm going to probably try and tidy up my borders a little bit, although see if we can, like, diminish this mess of a coalition, and then ride out the rest of the Age of Reformation, and we'll probably do a wrap from there if anything else interesting happens. Right, and immediately as the war ends, we are thrown into a civil war. Is this a Catholic revolt? I don't know exactly what, but we'll put it down all the same and explain to the people why they're better off under my boot. Even more revolts. Now, I understand, and I am resolving the current civil wars, but there was something very important that I did just want to share with everybody. You see, when I formed Germany, I formed it as Walloon primary culture. Now, there is something I definitely talked about earlier in the run, but I'm not sure if I've talked about it recently. Walloon, unlike Rhine Franconian, for example, where their language is German, Middle German, or Low Franconian, where their language is German, the Dutch dialect, Walloon speaks French. Which means, if I've done this correctly, the primary language of our entire nation the common language of our entire nation, the language of the nation of Germany, is French. Not just any French, not Parisian French, whatever Francique is. But at the end of the day, it is the French language that rules Germany. The language of the people. Now, funnily enough, due to some quirks of our government, technically, the court language is German, but technically the expected common language is French, which I love. I'm so glad that I can cause that level of pain to the German state. Anyway, back to fighting my endless rebellions. Game. I'm kind of busy at the moment, but listen, I'm really glad that we're having the Union and the League War. And I guess we are going to be included in the religious wars, no matter what. Yeah, I'm the leader of the Protestant League. Great. Not what I need, though, right now. Also, like, what Holy Roman Empire? Whatever. I'll have to, and I'm not going to be able to curry anyone to my side. Wait a second. I'm seen as an international pariah. No, this is bad. Bad, 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 bad. You know, I was just using this Civil War to test how the AI carpet siege was, because I'd managed to kill the Civil War, all the Civil War's troops, so it was free to do so. And it's awful. Like, it cannot sit in one place for more than 5 minutes. It won't even siege out small locations. So I don't know what is happening here or how it's broken, but it's very painful to watch. So I'm taking direct control here just because I need to put the nation back together. Because another thing the Civil War did was break all of my local governors. So the only thing pushing control right now is the capital and the local governor in Metz, and I have to reassign them all out. I desperately need to put some more actually deeper in the empire. We're having a good time. Alright, finally, the rebels are beaten once I stopped trusting the AI to do it, and I just did it myself. So we are going to re-centralize the army, and again, I get the privilege of setting out new local governors for control, because the Germans' empire's borders are wide-ranging, I think is the polite way to put it. We're grotesque. We're disgusting. We're a mess, is the more honest way to put it. Alrighty, so now that those local governors are down, it's going to take some time to build up control. We're going to suffer in the south here, but it's just mountains. It's not the most precious thing, right? There's silver there, but not much else compared to the population we're getting in the rest of the empire. We're actually able to build up, not at the moment, it's all not cored yet, because remember, this is what the integration map looks like, and I can't integrate on an area-wide level yet. I think that's the next stage. So control's going to take a while to build up, but our tax base is already... Well, this is the period of great conquest. This is the Civil War. This is the recovery era. Our wealth is exploding. The nation will take a while to come together, but it will fly. Okay, so Germany is stabilizing. We're colonizing through it. I did just look, like actually zoom out and look around for a moment and realize I can see a surprising amount. I'm imagining that's because I've been allied with Spain. They've shared their maps with me in one way or another. And of this, I realized I can see Newfoundland, as well as bits of Quebec. And I understand this is so off the script, but when you're given free land, I'm going to go and set up German colonies in Newfoundland because it's funny. They already speak an incomprehensible dialect, so it really won't matter. Not that we need to be spending our money on this right now, but German Newfoundland, just so you know what's happening. A quick little wealth update. Our wealth is just growing kind of out of nowhere. I think it's very much because we're actually getting control into this land now, so we're getting a return on all the investment we've put into it. And our tax base is having another great shoot up. We're now gaining 600 ducats a tick, even though I'm colonizing en masse. I have explorations running to every location that I possibly can reach. I'm trying to colonize into Africa. We're going into Canada to all open location that I can see. German flags will be pounded into the ground from here to Kingdom Come. Although the coalition map mode continues to look somewhat concerning. I'm just thankful that the French don't join, despite their 3,000 antagonism. Also, I just realized this is a funny thing. I don't know why it is, but we're not considered eligible to leave the Empire. I'm surprised forming or declaring ourselves an empire didn't forcefully rip us out of it. Actually, wait, I can challenge for circle leadership. Yeah, Verona. Let's see what happens. Come on. Oh, okay. It was defeated. Well, our prestige didn't measure up to theirs. Seriously? Alrighty. But yeah, I'm for some reason or another, we're still technically in the Holy Roman Empire, which is very odd. Our first colony in the New World is finished. So, who do I want to play as, or what do I want to name it as? We'll form a new colonial subject. It is not going to be called... I would love to try and pronounce that, but it would be a pointless task. Instead of calling it that, seeing as it's based in what I would consider Newfoundland, we will call it Old Known Place. You know, Old Known Place. Beautiful. I didn't actually think the AI had the balls. Is this... What war is this? This is the religious war. Okay. This is the religious war. Pause. Not the coalition. Which, I don't know if I should be happy or sad about that. How bad is it? Oh, we're going to absolutely crush this. Oh, no, guys, don't... Why are you doing this to yourself? Like, sure, you have Bohemia, but it's a little bit expensive. Tell you what, we're going to take out a little bit of loan. And I'm going to lay down 2 more entire armies. And I'm going to make you wish you didn't do that. Because I've been just kind of sitting here calm. Well, I could just build 2 entire fresh armies. We're going to slow it on down. And I'm going to go explain very gently to the Emperor why the Protestants are right. In fact, apparently we start with a flat 40%. Okay. Sure. Okay. The religious war has expanded to include France, although in return we got Georgia, which... Sure, man, sure. But the only one that really matters is burning down Bohemia, because, it's a show superiority thing, and I'm fighting the AI. This is either going to go really well or really poorly. Yeah, this war, I mean, as intended, I believe, but is rapidly growing out of hand. It is A hot mess. So I'm kind of fighting for my life, just trying to hold on to my land and not lose too much, while also trying to make gains on minor German states so I can start to push something. The problem is the front is never ending, right? It will just endlessly push as far as I can overextend into it and then get collapsed upon. All of Europe is against me, Jesus. Well, yes, actually. Okay, not quite what I was after, because in the middle of this massive league war, getting another rebellion that's going to uproot a bunch of my governors, probably. Uh, Possibly. It depends if any of the roads were broken to Dusseldorf or Mallerdorf. Yes. So I'm almost certainly going to lose my governor here. Uh, Kind of getting a bit sketchy. Not gonna lie. We were both throwing more than 1,000,000 people at each other. I think if I can hold out, so long as Spain is actually putting their back into it, we can actually win this. Unfortunately, I don't think Spain is putting the back into it. Okay, as much as I would love to fight this war to its very, very bitter end, uh, they're willing to take a white peace. So I can't get rid of their supremacy, and I can't leave the Holy Roman Empire. So we're just gonna sign a white peace because this war is too big and really expensive, and I'm out of manpower. Now I think that means we will trigger the Treaty of Westphalia, but that was bloody. If I had more manpower, I could win it. Just cannot justify that. I had to issue a bunch of government bonds to keep my economy running. So we're paying out the ass in government bonds too. Just like the real German state. The one really good thing to come of that, despite, hundreds of thousands of people dying for literally nothing because we white peaced, is the coalition's gone, technically. So that's something. Oh, I'm sorry, are we immediately going again? We're immediately going again. Is it everybody? Is it the same group of people immediately? Guys. Buddy. We just signed a truce. Okay, it's everybody but France this time. I could maybe do it without France. I just marched home. I was gonna, rest and rebuild. I can't afford this shit. I repaid my government bonds. Okay, reissue the government bonds. Quickly. It's not getting better. It's so not getting better. Okay, wait. They are willing to take another white peace. So if I immediately issue another white peace, are we going to go to war instantly again? I don't think so. England will ally me, so I'll take England up on that, just in case. Maybe that'll dissuade the League. I'm cool with a religious peace if we're willing to get there, guys, Like, we can coexist. We don't have to kill each other. So, here we are at the continuation of the War of the Religions, because they just decked on me again. This time I have England on my side as well as Milan and Spain. Hopefully the French don't get involved. If they do, we will deal with it as necessary. The army has mostly recovered, but not enough that I really want to throw it into the grinder. I don't know for certain how to do this. Like, do I just go full bore for Bohemia, or not Bohemia, for Bavaria, and hope that I can clear it? I really don't know. Either way, we will endure, and if things get bad, we'll probably just get a white peace. Okay, this time seems to be going much better for me because more nations are intervening on my behalf, specifically Muscovy and Georgia, so hopefully they're able to deal with Sweden and Scandinavia, while I just have to get a stranglehold on Italy, or on southern Germany and Czechia. And maybe Spain will even do something this time, who knows. And also hopefully England decides to show up. I'd really appreciate if they did. Ah, there it is. France has rejoined, but again, with England and Spain, hopefully they're able to keep them busy. About to be a massive battle happening in Munich. let's see, 100,000 Bohemians against, if I can get my troops in on time, roughly an equal number of Germans. 90,000 Germans. And it's painful. Although we're about to break open their flank, and if they don't get more reinforcements, their flank is going to be the reason they lose. Yep, no, we're just cracking wide open with our cav. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And we've taken Munich too. So is that enough that we can enforce? No. Gosh, no. How bloody was that battle? Actually, that's a big deal. Ruthenia joining is a huge deal, because, yeah, they have 100,000 troops on top of the Muscovite numbers, on top of the Novgorod numbers, on top. But more than that, it's giving Russia a direct border into, like, Lithuania and coming into Germany. So I'm not quite so disconnected and isolated. Well, I'm still isolated, but, you know. Okay. Wow. So, that's one hell of a war. But I have finally won it. Many people died. And this is after I don't know how many white pieces. But we can finally enforce religious supremacy upon the Bavarians, which will give us a Protestant HRE. Let's see. Lutheranism. Yeah, Imperial Religion, Lutheranism. Fantastic. To victory, lads. Demand peace. About 1 million people dead on each side, counting civilian casualties more. The unions have disbanded. Of course, Austria immediately wins, as expected. But Austria is Lutheran, or Protestant. So really, in our hearts, we're the emperor. We're not the emperor. We're never getting elected. Everybody hates us. Oh, that was so not worth it, but at least the worst can stop. At least I don't have to fight literally all of Europe. Although I guess that does answer the question, if the coalition decked on me, would I be able to win? And the answer is yes. It would have been slow and annoying and painful. But yes, I could have. Alright, everybody, back to guarding the frontier or something. Alrighty, I thought about this. The game's running as slow as it is. And I think I'm going to call the campaign here. I could go to the end of Age of Reformation, as I normally like to do, end on the end of an age, but I've accomplished my campaign goals, and there's nothing really left for me. Yes, I could clean up all of Germany. It's not a question of if I could, it's a test of patience. I'm at the point where, unless I'm fighting France, Bohemia, Hungary, Poland, Sweden, all of the free nations, it is a matter of when, not if. My biggest regret was taking all of this land and not being able to core it. But even still, the Age of Reformation ends in 25 years, and then I can core on an area-wide base, so it doesn't matter. So instead of giving a bunch of excuses, let's just look at the state of the nation with the understanding that most of it isn't fully cored yet, and appreciate what we've done. One, we formed Germany, which is one heck of an achievement after you saw the amount of coalition wars that I went through to do it. Finishing with a 6,500 tax base that is endlessly going up. We could pump this to the moon. A massive economic base, a whole bunch of wealth. 15 million pops, which in comparison, that is more than France, about the same as the Ottomans, a little bit smaller than Egypt. Just to give you an idea of where we are at pop-wise. Our control map mode, we have fantastic control coming from our new capital of Cologne. Unfortunately, I did move it away from Luxembourg, but, everything in the Rhine has 80s or low 90s. That is thanks to our councils that are bumping everything up. Not to mention the urbanization. I never got to finish that massive line of cities that I was after, but it was just it was too much effort to resettle people to be where I needed. I should have just started doing that much earlier. Besides that, our other economic bastion comes from this little grouping in Flanders, and just the sheer mineral wealth of Germany that we're pulling out of the ground. Otherwise, in our new territories, where we actually have stuff cored, we have great control. Where it's yet to be cored, we still have sufficient control. It pays for itself, not much more. I could use another local governor for the south here because I really can't get control down there well, and I haven't been able to integrate it yet. Military-wise, we are the second largest military in the world, only behind the Ottoman Empire. So I'm not the biggest army in the world, but I believe wholeheartedly that I could overcome the Ottomans if push came to shove. Well, honestly, the Ottomans might give me a fight. That might be a good war to have if we actually had borders. They also are the largest navy in the world, so the Ottomans definitely are cooking. They're cooking something. What else have we accomplished? In our borders, the Walloon culture is growing, and it is growing well. We do accept most of these minor German cultures, but as you can see, I'm converting on the area level just to take the edge off, make them all a bit weaker. Make them remember that they are Walloonian puppets, you know? We've basically erased Frisian. We were working on Low Franconian, and I just realized I could completely get rid of Westphalian, so I started doing that too. Of course, the greatest achievement of this is that Germany is actually speaking French. If I check our language, if I check the common language map mode, yes, you can see that Germany is speaking beautiful, beautiful French, just as God intended. Besides that, our markets, we have Lübeck, Bruges, Cologne, and Nuremberg. Cologne is sitting at a cool 8,000 market value, Bruges at 6,000, Lübeck at 4,000, and Nuremberg at 8,000 as well. Compared to some known heavy hitters, Prague is at 7,000, Paris is at 5,000, Constantinople is at 8,000, and Alexandria is at 5,000. Let's see, London, 3,000, Sevilla, 2,000. So yeah, we definitely are some of the most valuable markets in Europe. As well, for our colonial ambitions, we were just finishing up with the old known place in place of Newfoundland, and I had just founded the colony of New Hamburg, and we were about to eat up all of eastern Quebec, the Maritimes, and New England. We also had tacit explorations going into Africa, but it has not gotten anywhere just yet. Of course, Lutheran is the predominant religion of the nation. All of Germany, besides Bavaria, is almost Lutheran. France flipped, Sweden flipped, England flipped, two Sicilies flipped, and of course, Lutheran is the primary religion of the Holy Roman Empire. We had a fantastic run keeping actual control in the crown, and this would not be a bad position to convert over to an absolutist game if you wanted to, once we came to the age of absolutism. Be very possible. With that, however, I am going to call this. This has been one of the most enjoyable runs I've done in EU5, and thank you all very much for sticking around, watching, hearing about how you guys enjoyed the videos, and your positive feedback in the comments. It is incredibly rewarding in a way I can't quite explain perfectly through words, but thank you all for that. So if you would be so kind as to go down into the comments, throw down a like, leave a comment, subscribe while you're down there. We blew past 700. We are on our way sailing right to 750. The goal is 1,000 subs by November. It would mean the world to me. Thank you for your eyes, ears, and time. This has been Brown Dog 2, signing off.